My dear students, we have already discussed the introduction class daffodils. Today we are going to discuss the poem line by line, the poem Daffodils by William Wordsworth. Before going to the poem, let's remember the introduction of the poem. William Wordsworth was born in 1770 and died in 1850. He is one of the major poets of his time. He is one of the major poets of his time. He was born in Cockermouth in Cumberland, and from the very beginning of his life he was inspired by the beauty of nature. He started a new trend, a new age with ST Coleridge, that is known as romantic age, romantic literature. Wordsworth is regarded as the central figure in the initiation of Romanticism. He defined poetry, we know he defined poetry as spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings arising from emotions recollected in tranquility. All of us are quite well known about this famous definition of poetry: spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings arising from emotions recollected in tranquility. ଯେତେବେଳେ ତୁମେ ଏକ ବିଜନତା ନୀରବତା ଥିବା ଏକ ସୌନ୍ଦର୍ଯ୍ୟପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ସ୍ଥାନ ପ୍ରକୃତିର କୂଳରେ, in the lap of nature, when you are enjoying the beauty of nature, the scenic beauty of nature, ଯେତେବେଳେ ତୁମେ ବସିଛ ପ୍ରକୃତିର କୂଳରେ ଏକ ନିକାଞ୍ଚନ ନୀରବ ସ୍ଥାନରେ, as I have told you, the beautiful sunset, sunrise, waterfall, chirping of the birds, the flying butterflies, colorful flowers, green grass, the waving cornfields, all these things, they give us a real pleasure, aesthetic pleasure. And in this poem we see the same presentation. This is, however, a well-known poem. The poem Daffodils is, however, a well-known poem. Here the poet describes the beauty of daffodils in a very simple language, plain language. While he and his sister Dorothy Wordsworth were wandering, they came across a crowd of golden daffodils. The poet was deeply touched by the beauty of the golden colored daffodils, yellow colored, golden colored daffodils, and he came back, but the beautiful scenery The fluttering and dancing daffodils, the scene of the fluttering and dancing daffodils reminded. He was unable to forget it. He was unable to forget that scenery. Then he wrote this poem. He recalled, he wanted to present his feelings. As we know, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings arising from emotions are recollected in tranquility. Then he wrote this poem. Let's come to the poem. The very first line of the poem indicates his mood, the tranquil mood. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Those who have an interest for literature, or some of you, I think, have searched the net, and you might have known that the title of this poem was I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. It is also another title. Daffodils, आमे ताको daffodils शीर्षक बा टाइटल जानूचु आउ केतेक तुमर कौन से डिस्कशन बा एमती किसी सर्च करिवो सेतरे तुमे देखिवो मध्य आउटे शीर्षक बा टाइटल अछि आई वांडर्ड lonely as a cloud. So while the poet was wandering, roaming, moving aimlessly, I wandered lonely as a cloud, a single piece of cloud that floats freely in the sky. Sometimes you see that a single piece of cloud that floats freely in the sky. The poet was moving, the poet was wandering, the poet was roaming like that. He was enjoying the beauty of nature. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over valleys and hills. उपत्यका पहाड़ उपरे भासी जाउथुवा बादल खंडटीए परी कवि प्रकृतिर कूଳରେ घूरी बुलुतुले, निजको हजाई देइतुले, प्रकृति को उपभोग करुतुले, एक बादल खंड सदृश that floats on high over valleys and hills, when all at once, suddenly, all at once, I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Mark the word crowd. Generally, we use the word crowd to indicate a number of people, a lot of people. But here the poet has used that term, crowd, to indicate the flowers. A crowd, a lot of, a number of, a host of, large number of golden daffodils, golden colored daffodils. And he saw the flowers beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Beside the lake, beside the lake, beneath the trees, under the trees, lake district, केतेक स्थान रे you see, केतेक स्थान रे लिखा है कुंबरलैंड, ककरमाउथ, ये सब जे आमे देखु तांकर जन्म स्थान लिखा है लेक डिस्ट्रिक्ट बोली मध्य केतेक स्थान रे मेंशन कराई पहाड़ उपत्यका जल माने तोर जा कोदी वाटरफॉल झरणा ह्रद यही भाया प्राकृतिक दृश्य राजी भरा एक स्थान से देखुं कौन ना he saw, he found, suddenly he was wandering, he was moving, he was enjoying the beauty of nature. Suddenly he saw a host of, a number of golden daffodils beside the lake, धार एज ऑफ द लेक जमती कि मुझे गत क्लास रे आमर जेपरी लोटस लिली कई फूल पद्म फूल जमी देखी पोखरी रे बा नदी पाखे फुटी थाए ठीक पाखापाखि जदिव से नुहे पाखापाखि एटा असंख्य संख्यार फुटी डाफोडिल्स बीनीथ मीन्स अंडर द ट्रीज गछटी झुली आसी ह्रद उपर को ह्रदर कूल पाखरे असंख्य डाफोडिल्स फुटी दे वर फ्लोटरिंग एंड डांसिंग इन द ब्रिज दे वर मूविंग टू एंड फ्रो they were moving to and fro moving lightly they were moving lightly they were nodding their heads in the breeze हल्का हल्का पवन धीरे धीरे पवन रे फूल गुड़िक दोहली जाउचंती पानी ऊपर फुटी फूल गुड़िक पवन दौचे हल्का पवन फूल गुड़िक टिके टिके दोहली जाउचंती बट एज ए रोमांटिक पोएट Wordsworth is a romantic poet, poet of nature. We know it. He has presented it in a different manner. He says the flowers were dancing, they were fluttering, they were nodding their heads, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. They were nodding their heads. They seemed to be dancing. Then come to second stanza. Continuous is the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So the poet saw a number of daffodils, a host of daffodils, असंख्य फूल देखिले डाफोडिल्स हलदी रंगर एक घंटी आकृतिर फूल केतेक स्थान रे वर्णना कराई बेल शेप्ड फ्लावर आउ केतेक स्थान देखुछ हमें जे हॉर्न लाइक ए हॉर्न जेको हमें हॉर्न कहले हमें एक बाजा जे हमें देखुछंती बैंड पार्टी सेतिरे एक तुरी भलिया गुटे थाए ताको मध्य केतेक स्थान रे वर्णना कराउची हॉर्न भलिया एक ट्रम्पेट बा हॉर्न भलिया आकृतिर एक फूल जहाँ भी हो तो ये भलिया फूल सहित आम बेसी एक्वेंटेड नुहे तेणु आम जहाँ छवि देखुचु से छवि देखी जाना कथा नेट रे ताको देखिबा कथा तो कवि कहउछंती द पोएट सेज कंटिन्यूअस एज द स्टार्स दैट शाइन एंड ट्विंकल ऑन द मिल्की वे दे स्ट्रेच्ड इन नेवर एंडिंग लाइन along the margin of a bay. The poet compares the beautiful flowers, dancing flowers, fluttering flowers. का सहित ना with the stars that twinkle on the Milky Way. Milky Way galaxy. Milky Way जाको हमें छायापथ बोली कहती galaxy. The broad luminous band of stars encircling the sky galaxy छायापथ रे असंख्य तारा थांती they twinkle they shine तमे सब सान बेले इमिति तमे राइम सब गाउतला ट्विंकल ट्विंकल लिटिल स्टार हाउ आई वंडर व्हाट यू आर तो से ट्विंकल शब्द गोटे व्यवहार आम करि परिबा ट्विंकलिंग स्टार्स कवि व्यवहार करछंती and twinkle the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. The flowers, daffodils, ताको तुलना करा जाउची कहा सहित ना twinkling stars, shining stars on the Milky Way. असंख्य तारापुंज छायापथरे असंख्य तारापुंज थांते. The poet wants to mention is he saw a number of flowers like the number of stars on the Milky Way. जेबले हमें Milky Way रे देखंती असंख्य तारा थाते ठीक से परिठी असंख्य फूल रहिचंती. They are continuous as the stars, never ending line. They stretched in never ending line. The flowers stretched. The poet looked and looked, but he was unable to find out. He was unable to see the एंड ऑफ द लाइन कवि छिड़ा देखुं ह्रद कूल छिड़ा आखि जिते दूर जाऊँगी से देखुं प्रसारित हो से डाफोडिल से फूल जो फुटी ह्रद कूल प्रसारित हो जाए दूर को दूर को नेभर एंडिंग लाइन द स्ट्रेच इन नेभर एंडिंग लाइन along the margin of a bay margin border of a bay सेठी आमे गुटे शब्द देखिथिलु फास्ट स्टांजर फास्ट ये स्टांजर आमे देखिथिलु कोन ना beneath the trees beside the lake आमे देखिथिलु एठी आमे देखिलु margin of a bay border of the lake edge of the lake edge of the lake they stretch in never ending line along the margin of a bay 10,000 saw at a glance tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The poet says he saw 10,000 flowers at a glance. It's not possible to count the flowers at a glance. गुटिए ग्लांस रे गुटिए चाहणी रे no one can count the flowers. कहीं के बे फूल को गणी परिबो नाही गुटिए चाहणी रे. It's impossible. 10,000 फूल देखुची मु कवि कहउचंती I saw 10,000 flowers at a glance. It's a sort of hyperbole. जाको में कहंती जे टिके अतिरंजित भाव रे प्रकाश करिबा. अतिरंजित कहले किछटा ठीक कारण कवि the poet wants to give us a picture of that scenery. We are the readers. We are unable to know the number of flowers. So he says, at a glance he saw 10,000 flowers. गुटिए चाहणी रे जो से 10,000 फूल देखंती ताले केते फूल सेठी नथिबो हेतबे से कहउचंती the stretched and never ending line along the margin of a bay 10,000 saw I at a glance tossing their heads in sprightly dance. They were tossing their heads. Imagine such a scenery. There were a number of flowers. They were dancing. They were moving their heads, fluttering, nodding. फूल गुड़िक दोहली जाउचंती पानी रे दोहली जाउचंती हल्का हल्का मृदुमय पवन रे तो फूल जो दोहली जाउची ए फूलटी अन्य फूल सहित बाड़े जाउची ताकू कवि भाषा देके कहउचन दे वर टॉसिंग देयर हेड्स इन स्प्राइटली डांस लाइवली डांस अति आनंददायक नृत्य जीवंत नृत्य स्प्राइटली SPRIGHTLY तुम आगे सब बही रखि तुम सब बही देख बही रे मार्क कर स्प्राइटली डांस लाइवली डांस जीवंत नृत्य सते जेपरी फूल गुड़िक भाव विहुल भाव निजक हजे देइचंती एवं नृत्य करचंती अति आनंद मना होई से नृत्य करचंती. So in this stanza we see the poet compares the flowers with the twinkling stars. एठा में दुईटा पॉइंट हम पाउछु daffodils stretch along the shore, the bay of the lake, the margin of the lake, edge of the lake. They were countless. They were shining. सेपटरा में देखुछंती stars they shine on the Milky Way. They shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They are also countless. The stars are countless. They are also shining. दुईटा जिनस टिके मार्क कर कहीं कंपेयर कर फूल गुड़िक उज्जवल देखा जाउचंती चिकमिक करुचंती गोल्डन येलो कलर फूल से गुड़िक उज्जवल सुंदर देखा जाउचे चिकमिक करुचंती जेपरी तारा गुड़िक गैलेक्सी रे मिल्की वे रे चिकमिक करंती ट्विंकलिंग करंती शाइनिंग करंती. ये गोटे पॉइंट. सेकेंड पॉइंट दैट इज स्टार्स. द स्टार्स ऑन द मिल्की वे आर काउंटलेस. तुम्हें गणी पार ना असंख्य तारापुंज फूलर तार जो संख्या आमको वर्णना करने कवि कहते से गुड़िक काउंटलेस एंड नेभर एंडिंग लाइन. नेभर एंडिंग तुम आकाश को चाहब गैलेक्सी लंबी जाइथिबो आकाश रे नेभर एंडिंग लाइन रे एठी कवि छिड़ा होइचंती ह्रदकूल छिड़ा होइचंती चाहुचंती सुदूर को प्रसारी जाइछि सेई डैफोडिल्स फुटिथिबा ह्रदकूल रे जे फुटिछि डैफोडिल्स ताहा दूर को प्रसारी जाइछि तार माने नुहे जे तार शेष नथिबो किंतु कवि जेते दूर देखि पारुचंती से देखुचंती जे फूल जे फुटिछि ताहा दूर को लंबी जाइछि ताको सेत पे देखुचंती नेभर एंडिंग लाइन आउ तापर से कहउचंती कोन ना आमे तो हेलु वी आर रीडर्स वी कैन नॉट इमेजिन such a situation to give us an idea. He says that if you look at this scene, if you look at this sight at a glance, you can see 10,000 flowers. सते जेपर तुम देखि पारिबो 10,000 फूल सेठी रहिछि. So that is the end of your stanza 2. Thank you.